Hey, we're live. It is the raddest drawing club on the planet, the Daily Drawing Club. I'm DJ Kaufman. I'll be walking you through the next half hour or so. The art question of the day that came in was, is art school worth it? So I'll be talking a little bit about that as I draw today. And then the art tip exercise of the day will be tips for drawing in water. I had this one a lot, just like drawing hair. Tips for drawing water for your comics or for your art or whatnot. So I'll be doing that live. So if you don't know, then welcome, folks in the chat. Turn down my music here. Appreciate the background music, it's not necessary. Steph, Lola, Dan, Madcat, Magical. Hey, Magical, what's up? Hope you enjoy the evening streams. Tweeter, you're all here. Thanks for joining tonight's stream. For the people that are following along in the replay, make sure you comment and let me know that you were here, or leave your questions for future art tips, tricks, whatever, and I'll talk about that. Career stuff, whatever, life, I got it. You know, I'll get you. So I'll be answering questions while I draw. If you have questions in the chat, throw it in there. I'll check it out while I'm drawing. And then we'll do tonight's drawing challenge. So I'm going to go ahead and just reveal this right now as I do. And then we'll get into talking about those tips and whatnot. Today's drawing challenge is, this is another one that was older from the club. Water, water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. We did this a while ago in the Daily Drawing Club, the membership. By the way, if you're not a member, you can join the Daily Drawing Club, link in description probably, or drawordie.co. There's a 5 a.m. email that comes out, merch, 10% off merch, quarterly sticker, all kinds of stuff. A lot of cool people here in the chat or in the Daily Drawing Club as well. So today's prompt is water, water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. And of course, the tip then is tips for drawing water. So I'm going to kill two birds with one stone there. And we're talking about, is art school worth it? Is the big question. I've been asked that a lot, and I'm going to dive into a couple different things as I'm drawing the prompt for today. So that's how we're going to start this show off. Let me go ahead and just kick on some just regular old lo-fi. Okay, so I'm going to get right into drawing here. Set my timer, 30 minutes. If we go a little over, that's fine too. Water, water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. So a narrative prompt, again, explaining these, is usually I say the first thing that you think of, you should try to draw. And for me, and I'm going to kind of keep the tip in mind too, because I'm going to draw a few things of water, I think. Different kinds of water, I mean. So let me see here real quick too. Let's pull this up so I can see my chat. All right. So the first thing I think of must be like a bunch of water and you can't drink it. And I think I drew this before, but I'm going to draw a version of this again, because why not? And I think of something like a cage. Oh, wait, let me see here. Okay, am I in my pencil tool? All right, there we go. I like to draw with that red. And I'm going to draw small, like I usually do. I've drawn a cage like this before. I always see this like pirate cage sort of thing happening. And somebody's in like a cage right above a bunch of water. Done this one before, but I'm gonna, it's good to go back and draw something that you've done before and try to make it better. So that'll be like the water. This person is hanging from something, maybe like a ship's plank. Let's draw that. Yeah, we'll do do that. This will be great, actually, for the tip. I'm just going to get into this drawing first, and then we're going to talk about, is art school worth it? In the chat, if you want to talk about if you've gone to art school, I think a few of you actually maybe have or taken some classes. Go ahead and post like is it worth it? Is it worth art school? Is it worth paying whatever amount of money to go to art school? Your benefits, your pros and cons in the live chat. What do you think about it? And I'm going to go ahead and start sketching this out and talking about this and water. So I'm going to start with that. I'm going to blow that up. Blow this sketch up here to about, fill up this area pretty good. Oh, that's good. We'll just go over everything. I want to get into some details tonight. Whoops. All right. All right. Go about that big. Fade out that rough layer. Then I'm just going to get in here and actually pencil over. You know what? I'm going to challenge myself. I'm going to go right to inks tonight. So I'm going to do my ink or dye brush. It's nice and smooth. Why not? Doesn't have to be perfect. That's the whole point of sketching every day or doing a daily prompt, is that it doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm going to draw this kind of plank thing here first. Steph, about the question of art school, was it worth it? I'll put your comment up there real quick while I'm doing this for people to read. Is it worth it? Is it for everyone? No. Required? Nah, but I made great connections, learned a lot, and loved every minute of it. No regrets at all. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and slam into this drawing here real quick. And again, I think, to reiterate, I'm going to have a cat joining me. Come on, let's go. She hears me in here talking, and she's very curious as to who I'm talking to. In about 5 minutes, my cat will want to go out, I think, or she might join me on the back of my chair. So yeah, the whole idea of the drawing prompts is to not get too perfect about it. Be inventive, kind of practice whatever it is. So in this case, I'm just having some fun going straight to inks. And I know I'm going to also practice water here in a minute. So I'm just doing like these, maybe there's this cage hanging off the side of a ship, you know, as pirates do. Kind of what I'm doing. There's some good conversation going on in the chat now about that. I'll look up here in a second. So as I'm drawing this out, and I'll get to the water tip in a minute when I get down to the water there. So I guess for art school, for the question that I get, and if I'm answering you face to face or in a DM or something like that, this came through DM about should I take some art classes or go to college. And I would say, I guess it's what your goal is. So number one, I got to tell you, I'll be straight honest. I don't think, I mean, 80% of the time, maybe 90% of the time, having a degree in art isn't going to get you a job. So if that's what you're thinking, if you're thinking when you get this magical degree, you're going to get instant work, it's not going to happen. I know so many people that did that and were like, I went to college for art and I can't find any jobs. They went to like some fancy schools too. I have a couple friends that went to like Joe Kubert School for Comics and Cartoons, and they just couldn't find any paying work after that, really. Like, it all has to do with your style and actually what you want to go after. So that's the first question you have to ask yourself is, what is it that you're wanting to do? So a lot of youngsters will jump right into college and not know. Oh, look, she's joined the stream. Peach, I'm drawing. So just nap it up back there. All right. That's my that's like my parrot, but it's a cat. So yeah, for art school, I'm gonna say first know what you want to do. So a lot of youngsters will just jump right into college, and then be like, man, I don't know. I'm just building a portfolio for the 4 years or the 2 years or whatever that I'm in here. And, their art's really like they're going through the textbook type, portfolio building and stuff, but it's really not jiving with them. So then they feel like, I don't know. I've been in positions to hire artists as well too, and it's just something bad. Like I've seen other people in management, let's say, look at it and go like, well, this portfolio is great, but have they done anything? So having like a working portfolio, what I mean by that is find what you want to do and just start publishing it yourself, whether it's prints or a series of art. Comics is what I'm into. So, I would say like if you're looking to get into comics, actually just do comics. And again, this is going to be really small, but I've got this, probably just a skeleton now, this guy, just for the sake of this stream. And again, don't worry about your artwork being perfect. I might extend this stream a little bit because I also kind of want to talk about, I took a day trip yesterday to the Billy Ireland Museum in Columbus, Ohio. That was very interesting. And now that I'm thinking about that, I'm using like the chiaroscuro technique, like just using blacks to kind of fill in the shape of things to make it look like something when you zoom out, right? There's a little skeleton guy in this cage. All the water all around him. The drawing prompt was water, water everywhere, but not a drop of drink. Go back to Lola about the art. Art classes are definitely worth it, but in my opinion, the pedigree of a fancy dancy school isn't. If the goal is to learn and grow as an artist, debt is not required. And Steph agreed with Lola. She has 2 degrees, and luckily my job utilizes both. So I must say that I do know some people that use their degrees for their jobs, for sure. Especially some teaching type jobs for art and graphic design, visual design. But it's so few and far between. And I would think my bonuses for like going to school, and by the way, I didn't go to art school. I learned the hard way. And you're lucky to be living in a world where we have brilliant masters pretty much on YouTube. Not like me. I'm not a master drawer. I'm just doodling this little skeleton in a cage. You can learn anything here on YouTube. I've learned and refreshed and, get into some different techniques here right on YouTube. So, I mean, I wish I would have had that when I was like 14, or 15. Quick story about me is I actually, this is before the internet times. There was a recruiter of some kind from the Rhode Island School of Design, which is a great school, that came to my high school, and they were basically trying to recruit me, scholarship stuff, all that. And I was so stubborn that I didn't want to go because my art teacher at that time told my parents that I had cartoon tunnel vision, and it pissed me off. So I was just like, no, I don't want to go be a fancy artist. I do cartoons and comic strips, and this is what I want to do. And if going to in my mind, I was like, if going to that school is I'm on a rant here, so I'm gonna just go full camera with the peach sleeping. in my mind, I thought, well, if that's what's going on at art schools, I don't want nothing to do with that. If they're gonna crap on comics, I don't want that. But in retrospect, I've known people that have gone and I didn't, and had maybe a sense of community that I didn't have. Um, People learning together, learning hands on. I had a little bit of that luckily from some mentors, but really that's the thing that I think is the people that I've talked to that have gone to school hardcore for art and study. It's really about that camaraderie and learning together and working together. Being among others really helps artists. I think it's why we're kind of drawn to each other as artists as well too, because you know how it is, right? Like the rest of the world is still gonna go, oh, that's a neat little thing that you're doing there, and it just pisses you off. At least it did for me. Now it doesn't anymore. I don't really care. I'm kind of, you get beyond that at some point, at some stage you can grow up. But here's Magical. Has got a Master's of Fine Arts degree. Definitely helped me get work and open doors that probably wouldn't have opened. Despite the fine arts part, it was more of a design degree though. LOL. Yeah. I can't count the number of times that I've heard over and over again, like, especially people that went to school for like visual design, graphic design, that these days, like, people that just know how to do stuff, it's just all about the skill base. Who can do it fast? Maybe companies get away with like saying like, oh, if you don't have a degree, it's going to be a little, we're not going to charge you as much or something like that, or we're not going to offer you as much money. That does happen. But yeah, so I mean, it's 50-50. That's the answer to the question. Is art school worth it? I would say, let's do a definitive answer to the camera so that I can cut this into a short. Is art school worth it? Yes and no. Do you want to be in debt? Then no. Do you want to actually go and learn hands-on with probably some masters, hopefully some masters? Then yes. And if you can afford that, that's cool. Then do it. Will it get you a job? Will an art degree get you a job magically? No. It's going to be your work. Will it help? Maybe. But I've never, of all the work that I've gotten, and I've known so many other artists, that it's just about your skill level. So building your skills up, it could take longer. Maybe you learn some shortcuts in college, but really it comes down to the work ethic. Being able to produce the work and not just a portfolio is going to help you way more than anything else in life. Magical agrees that the debt sucks. So yeah, I guess I was blessed by not having that debt, college debt, but in other ways, I do kind of, I don't regret anything, but I look back at my younger self and I'm like, dude, that was so angsty. All right, tips for drawing water. So we've got this guy, he's hanging on the side of a ship here, and I'm going to draw some water. So different ways I could draw this water, and I got a couple elements here that I can work with. I got like 13 minutes left on, just not timing myself. I might go over a little bit. Might be a little more than half an hour tonight. Let's see. So first thing, like when you're using black and white like this, you can just do, like most beginners, because there's a lot of beginners that'll just peek in on this stream and listen in. Most people are like, oh, look, water, and that's not, sure, like that's the universal symbol for water, and it's not far off. Like you can do that, fine. Now, if you wanted to think about it, it is just shapes. So like you could do those kind of shapes, but like do it in alternating slopes, because that's how water kind of behaves in the ocean, right? It's like kind of ripply waves. It doesn't really look like anything yet. And then from there, you can, what I'll do a lot of times if it's like an ocean scene, let me get rid of this. And I'm working with like, I think I'm giving you the line art perspective, but I think that if you learn this way, you'll also learn to like paint this shit out. So I'm gonna like a couple more like breaking, like little ripples down here, right? But sometimes I'll just draw like a horizon line. And remember how you're like, you know, perspective is usually like straight ass lines like that. I will just kind of get in here and think of like squiggly lines coming at you. Like this. First and foremost. Usually I'll pencil it first. Just to kind of get my bearings on the perspective of the water, if that makes sense. And then I'll get in there and I'll just color in some of the shapes. Or like do a little like shading. It's really like just fundamental like forms and stuff back there. You could fake it a lot of times. It's what a lot of cartoonists do, but like see, now we're just going in on that a little bit. Right? And you can kind of draw these little like shapes and you can get really lost in this, but like the shapes and ripples of the foam coming off, your line weight, you know, thick to thin, varying. And as you zoom out, you know, it starts to look like comic book. I remember when like comic book water, I'm just going to call it comic book water, was very like, how do you do that? And then one day I just kind of zoomed in on how my favorite cartoonists were drawing water. And I'm like, oh, it's just shapes like this. Kind of zoomed out, right? So you can see it kind of comes together. And then either way, if you're painting this, like digitally painting this, you're going to think of these types of shapes. Like it's just kind of like fluttering a little bit. I didn't see my hand there, but I just did this kind of action. I was just like, it's kind of like fluttering, like look at water and how it behaves. It's kind of just like hitting into itself a little bit. And we're going to talk a little bit about what's up when it hits the side of this ship over here. So like if I wanted it to be like hitting right here, I'm going to erase this ship right here and like it's going along the ship. But if it's breaking right here, let's just erase this part. Let's erase all that. We might have it kind of hitting and bouncing off. So imagine it going like boom and then bouncing off like that. So I'm kind of like already seeing like a little bit of a, you know, and then hitting the ship too. Just erase that. And if it's moving, you'll just move the ripples into the way that the boat is going, right? I'm just kind of, I'm doing that pretty quick, but and then I'm going to color in a little underneath it. And it's really just kind of an optical illusion. But you see like when there's like wave places like that, you're actually just thinking of those little mini waves almost hitting. That's a good way of thinking of it. It's just like, can you draw that? Can you draw just this action happening and then draw these guys. Just real small. And now you got some like chaotic, water happening there. Get in, do another one. You can noodle with this all day and all night. And it actually kind of feels, if you're in your sketchbook and just farting around a little bit, it's actually kind of soothing to mess with. That's that type of water. What else? Pretty basic, but if it was something like fell in the water, the gravity of like a splashing out would be the same thing, like energy in, energy out. And then you're just gonna make that kind of like an explosion. But the difference between water is there's always like that ripple. And something went in. It might be like a poop, or how big was the thing that went in. So you're thinking of volume and mass. Was it a giant rock? Was it someone plucking a pebble in there? Did someone drop a key overboard this ship? They've thrown another key. And this is the part where you can really just kind of use your imagination a little bit. Another thing about water is you don't want to just, like, depending on, is it just freshly thrown in, or is it just a split second later and the water's going to curl with gravity down? So get rid of those straight lines and just kind of curve them a little bit. Thinking of everything like moving like that. And I'll take my eraser and just kind of bend a little bit of water through there. Just a couple trickles. All right, that's that. And then, it's not realistic. I don't really care because this is a fun drawing stream. But if I was going to draw like a wave, like, let's just go ahead and draw like a wall here. Maybe like this. And then like that. And now you're going to like fold. Think of it like a claw hand or something like that. Coming at this dude. And you're picturing a shape that's kind of like the three-dimensional form of that. So dark underneath and white on top. So now you've got these guys that are kind of just like chaotic wave. Hold on, there we go. You can have a lot of fun with that, actually. I like to think of it like monster hands or something. Like creeping. And if I was gonna do this in like a black and white comic style, I'm not going to go digitally painting, but I'm telling you right now, I don't want to. But I'm just going to fill this with black. And then I could just go to my eraser or change it to white, but I'm just going to go to my eraser brush. And then, I'm going to hit like some of the other up current into this wave that you can't really see. Switch back from eraser to black. Select. So this is how I approach water. I'm sure there's some holes in the water too. It's not like completely solid like a blanket, right? That's kind of fun to mess with, and then knock it out with a eraser as you go. And the same thing is the same shapes are gonna be the same if you're digitally painting it. If I'm grabbing a gouache brush here and I'm going maybe like a gray blue, I'm just hitting that, right? Or going into this water down here. Let's just do that real quick. A little darker. Nope, that's not what I wanted. That's what I want right there. Why is it not being nice? Oh. Nope. Oh. Wow. Going too fast. But yeah, I'll just paint in that blue, get really messy with that. Right. And then I'm just going to probably do some white. I don't know how well the colors do on the actual. Well, they're a little lighter on the stream, but I'm getting in there and hitting that white. And this is something that I'm doing this very quickly. I'd probably spend more time if it was a serious, piece of art. But really, if this was just a sketchbook or a demonstration to kind of show you how I approach, and I make it a little more whiter on the edges. There's this like extra little bit there. And of course, you're not gonna be connected. It's like a connection. And then you can do the same thing, isolate the lines by swiping left I'm in Procreate, so if I swipe left, swipe right, I can then isolate those lines, take like a dark blue, and hit this up. So now I'm kind of making those black lines blue. This is just me. I've learned to see everything in cartoon tunnel vision, as my high school art, one of my high school art teachers said. Oh, Mrs. Wolf, if you're alive, it's all good. That's the half an hour alarm. I'm going to keep going though, because I want to show you guys some stuff if you're down for it. Or if not, if you got to go, come back. But yeah, that's how I approach water. That was water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. And yeah, I think that's a fun looking wave actually now. It's kind of turned out pretty cool, I think. Again, if you're watching this, make sure you like the video and comment. If you're watching this in a replay, appreciate it. And now I'm going to show you some extra stuff. So this was the stream schedule for the rest of this week. Tomorrow, Tuesday's 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. And then I'm back to 8 p.m. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then we're doing a members only stream on Saturday. More about that in a second. I'm also doing my day job, comics live stream for VeeFriends. So I draw the daily VeeFriends comic strip. So tomorrow morning, I'm going to be up bright and early, 8:30 a.m., 8:30 to 10, or maybe I'll stay longer. I'm working on TikTok only tomorrow on the VeeFriends channel. So if you want to watch me draw comics live, hit that up. Yesterday, I got to go to the Billy Ireland Museum in Columbus, Ohio, and see all these amazing. It's really funny. It sees my thumb up in the. It's auto putting the thumbs up because I got a thumbs up in there. Let's do it again. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but it's pretty funny. And if you can't join, Magical said, I can't do the nights, um, but I can do nights. Can't do during the day. So if we switch back and forth, just watch the replays and hang out. It's cool. I appreciate it. Yeah, so I got to see some of the original artwork for Terry and the Pirates. I got a few more to show here. It's huge. That's the thing that you don't see, and it's gonna keep giving the thumbs up because that's the thing you don't understand when you're looking at things like comic original art, is that these panels are so big in person, right? And Allie actually made the comment. She's like, "Whoa, when you're drawing on an iPad, it's kind of similar, right? Because you're zooming in on this big drawing." And I'm like, "Yeah, it is." Because really, I was having my own feelings of, wow, I can't believe I'm in here with like all these masters. I mean, there's me with Garfield. Yeah. Oh look, I just made a sticker of myself. All right, I didn't want to do that. Seeing original Peanuts. I have this is pretty detailed, pretty high resolution, but just kind of being able to see how big they were drawn. I mean, I knew this already, but like seeing it in person was just really cool. It's a free museum in Columbus, Ohio, at the Ohio State University. It's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful place. They've got a Gordo exhibition going on from now until May, I think, in 2024. And Gordo, they have the best animal drawings inside Gordo. Like, it's really cool stuff. And I just wanted to show this panel. I zoomed in a little bit on Charlie Brown, because if you're out there and you're thinking to yourself, well, I'll never be a good cartoonist, I just want to like zoom in, like, look at Charlie Brown, like look at how simple Schultz was with his line art and like economy of line, all that stuff. There's a lot of scribbly scratching, there's mistakes here on this board, like there's some kind of scratch or something happened on that board, either after the fact or whatnot. But like, just keep in mind that like everything starts somewhere, so don't beat yourself up. Speaking of Calvin and Hobbes, I got to see the Calvin and Hobbes originals there as well, and you can actually see pencil lines underneath some of these, so just a real treat. Super awesome. You can see his pencil lines for his lettering. Allie was mentioning that that was the thing that impressed her the most, was the hand lettering of these comics. Seeing the pencils underneath the Calvin is super cool. Really neat. And then you got like Chester Gold's Dick Tracy, and you could see his line. Again, this is a giant panel. But the blacks were just so smooth and crisp. Like looking at the different inking styles of these like pretty much modern masters, Here's another original from Calvin and Hobbes. This is definitely worth a trip. It took us about 3 hours to get out there. We went to go see the band The Beaches, which are phenomenal, by the way. And Allie was like, "Hey, why don't we go to that museum that you wanted to go to?" I was like, hell yeah. So just being able to like look up close, this doesn't even do it justice. I've seen originals and things in my life, but being at this place with all of them in one place was just so cool. There's some pencil scratches there behind that. And the energy, that was probably another thing that I said to Allie on the way back, was like, I think as an artist, I kind of look at those places a little bit differently, because I'm looking at like all of these originals and pull out drawers and stuff, and I'm thinking, imagine how many hours of their life is just hanging on the wall here. I don't think people think in that way unless maybe you're an artist. You think like, wow, someone took like 5 seconds to view that, but it took 8 hours of your life to draw that. So that's how I look at those types of museums, and I'll definitely be back. I'm probably going to donate some money to, I don't have a whole lot of money to donate, but it's definitely a museum worth keeping open. There's a reading room there that I wasn't able to get to because it was a Sunday, but you can go in and see all kinds of stuff. But yeah, it was really wonderful and a really good time. I really recommend going to the Billy Ireland Museum. All right, so today we did water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. I drew my guy on a skeleton thing off a pirate ship, maybe. Who knows? Maybe they're just hanging him out there to suffer. Tips on drawing water. You know, I kind of showed a bunch of different little techniques that I would, how I approach it, quickly enough for you to start or think about. And what else? We talked about, is art school worth it? And we answered those questions. So I'm not going to recap that. I think it's either or. You do not need it, but it could help you. Weekend members only stream. So again, we have the Daily Drawing Club that will be recorded too, so you can watch that in you could rewatch that. Is that what I'm trying to say right now? Yeah, you can rewatch that. And daily email drawing prompt comes out at 5 a.m. We've got 10% off merch, quarterly sticker. I don't plug these enough, but you know, we also have our own sketchbooks for sale, the Draw Everyday books, and some other cool stickers and stuff like that. Allie's been really busy. Thanks for all the orders. They've really gone up this week. She's been busy. I'm DJ Kaufman on all other platforms, plats, as I'm calling them, on the plats. Mostly Instagram, I think. I'm kind of reluctantly on X right now. And then I'm drawing, like I said, the daily comic strip for VeeFriends. So that is my day job, doing that. And if you want to learn or watch me draw the comic strip, then that schedule that I shared earlier, and it's all over my socials too, is how to find me. Okay, cool. That's going to be it for this stream. That's 42 minutes. I think that was a good one. I'll be back at 8:30 a.m. on TikTok tomorrow for the VeeFriends stream. I hope that you check it out. Peach is about ready to get out of here, I think. Yeah, no, she's just shifting. What are you doing? All right, guys. Thanks so much. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're drawing every day. This is a little bit different, doing this at night, actually, because I got so used to doing it in the morning last week. So we might alternate back and forth, but appreciate it. I actually have some things to draw tonight, and then got to get back to it tomorrow. So thanks for watching and drawing, hopefully, and I will see you next time. I'm just going to clean this up a little bit for the thumbnail while we hang out. you soon.